citizen social science, the example of participatory research with young people, not in education, employment, or training, the so-called NEET. Please, Veronika.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm a sociologist by training, currently working at the Department of Education. So I'm rather talking about citizen social science than about citizen science. I'm trying to share my screen now.
And please, you have 12 minutes. We are a little bit behind schedule. It's important to have some time in the end for discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I'm talking about now is in the context of a research project called Co-Designing Citizen Social Science for Collective Action, or COACT. It's funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program. The coordinators are located at the University of Barcelona. And what we try to do is propose a new understanding of citizen social science as participatory research, co-designed and directly driven by citizen groups, sharing a social concern in which they become co-researchers in processes commonly dominated by academic researchers. So we're kind of connecting ideas of participatory research that has a long tradition in the social sciences with ideas of citizen science. And we aim to bring together and further develop methods to give citizen groups an equal seat at the table through active participation in research, from the design to the interpretation of the results and their transformation into concrete actions. So this means that we try to involve co-researchers in all steps of a research process. This is the project's homepage, coproject.eu. If someone's interested, there's more explanation about the project that you can find there. And in the project, we have 4 very different case studies. And I want to tell you a bit more about the case study we do in Vienna. I'm based at the university in Vienna. It's about youth employment or youth unemployment. In 2016, a new law was implemented in Austria. It's called Education Till 18. And it makes education obligatory for all young people under the age of 18. Implementing this law led to an increase of initiatives and measures for young people who dropped out of school or of other types of vocational training. Nevertheless, there is a certain amount of young people that even drop out of these more easily accessible initiatives. In our case study, we want to do research together with young people who are in such initiatives. And we want to do research with them about their ideas and perceptions about education and employment. How do they like these measurements and initiatives? What would they want to have instead? What is their idea of learning and education? We plan to work with 2 groups of 10 to 15 young people each group 10 to 15, who are between 15 and about 20 years old. The overall topic is My Challenge. That's kind of the topic that we set. And within this My Challenge topic, they can choose themselves what is their challenge and what they want to do their research on. The young people will form small groups and find their own research question. They will decide on the suitable methods, or one method of gathering data. They will collect the data themselves and join the social scientists in analyzing the data. Furthermore, they will participate in the decision on the type of dissemination of the findings. So this means that the young co-researchers are actively involved in all steps of the research process. And social scientists, on the other hand, primarily help and coach in the process. They give their knowledge about social theory, about empirical social research, but they rather help, these young people to develop their own research projects. Mary Kellett at the Open University in the UK does children's research, she called it, or children-led research is her term, and we follow very much her approach in how we do research together with the young people. But we do not only work with these young people, we also have a knowledge coalition, it's called in the project, meaning that there are different other stakeholders on all levels of education until 18 that are involved in this knowledge coalition. They are interested in the outcomes of the study, and they are also willing to cooperate with the young co-researchers, for example, by being interviewed by them or by assist them in researching things. And we have on the one hand individual persons involved in this knowledge coalition, like social workers working in this field and with the young people, public officials or politicians. And we have on the other hand institutions that are interested, like the Federal Ministry of Social Affairs, Health, Care and Consumer Protection, the City of Vienna, Public Employment Service Austria, and several institutions who provide training for young people and kind of want to see what their customers, their clients actually think. We do not have any results now. We only start doing field work with these young people in October. And we really hope that, you know, the current COVID crisis is not interfering too heavily with our project, because we would of course want to do this face-to-face and not online, but it might happen that there is another lockdown and, you know, everyone moves to e-learning again. But we hope that we can do this from October on. And to illustrate briefly how this can look like, I would like to show you some previous publications and presentations, because in previous projects we have done this type of participatory research with young people who are a bit younger, 9 to 13-year-old children in fact, and we addressed them at school. And as you can see, we did different kinds of research with them. They also formed small groups and found their own research questions about school. That was, what would they want to change in school? How would they like to learn in school? And some of these you can see here, posters about their research they have done. Here is a poster, or here is a poster, or one picture is from an event where parents and teachers, colleagues, siblings were all invited, and about 100 people were presented the findings by acting sketches and performances or doing a quiz for the adults. So that was their way of, you know, disseminating their findings. And you can see two publications we did together with the children. One is in a book on participatory action research with children and young people. It's this Gemeinsames Forschen in der Sprachengruppe, where a group of 5 pupils did research on how many languages are spoken at our school. And they had very interesting findings of how bilingual children are marginalized in this monolingual idea of Austrian schools that are only German speaking. And the other one, that chapter 29, Selbstinterview and so on, that is a text that was written by a student who participated in a research project at the age of 13, but we kept in contact, and when he was 18, we were writing a methodologies book on how to do research with children and young people, and he agreed to write a text on how to do an interview, kind of self-interview, he called it, and a presentation about research findings on YouTube. So that's different ways on how we plan to involve these young people and also connect what they find out, what their ideas are about these initiatives and educational measurements with policymakers, with social workers, and also with academics in the field of education. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronika. So, channel I will keep on. And the next speaker is Francisco Ferreira. He's from the Department